All right. Over the weekend, I sat down to watch Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake? I don't really care. I'm going to say Caddo Lake. I don't care. As I've been hearing pretty favorable reviews, and to be honest, I have seen pretty much every movie this year that has had M. Night Shyamalan's name attached to it. Now, I must be honest in that I had not seen the trailer, so I had no idea what to expect, which in this case was probably a good thing. Overall, I didn't particularly like this movie for a few key reasons, so we're just going to jump right into them. There are going to be spoilers for this thing, by the way, so if you haven't seen it, you've been warned. So, Caddo Lake is 1 hour and 40 minutes long, which by all reasonable standards is a fine runtime. The problem here is that Caddo Lake is so ponderous. The story is so busy trying to convince you that the two storylines and characters we're seeing that are happening simultaneously, and we just absolutely know they aren't. There's a line of like ham-fisted dialogue somewhere in there where like the one girl, like Ellie, she's like, "Mom, where's Dad's death certificate? I mean, you must have gotten one after 7 years after he disappeared, right? Because of death in absentia, because we couldn't find his body," or like something like that, you know. And you're just like, "Oh, geez, okay." So clearly, Dylan O'Brien's character is Eliza Scanlon's father, and we're watching a narrative dealing with two different periods of time, right? This is made doubly clear by the movie actually does a very good job casting the girlfriend of Dylan O'Brien, who will become the mother of Eliza Scanlon, and those two actresses actually look very similar, which, I mean, they should. So you see that, and you know the movie's just wasted a bunch of time trying to make the audience think that the two stories aren't related. But then they start trying to add in the breadcrumbs to the, ooh, but these stories are related, and like the kind of twist they desire so strongly to pull off. There's a significant problem in trying to pull off a twist that you so obviously set up. And I mean, having M. Night Shyamalan's name as a producer on this movie is not helping you. The man has a reputation for trying some kind of shocking twist in his movies, even movies where he's only produced them, right? Like in this case, seeing his name immediately makes you start thinking, what else is going on here? Well, after trying so hard to make us feel the two stories aren't related, making it even more obvious they are, right? We now take the lines of dialogue they said at the beginning, and then there's a duplicate copy of like Dylan O'Brien mother's necklace, and the mind like immediately jumps to like time travel because you start thinking Dad's body was never found. How did my mother's necklace end up in the lake when it is at home amongst her possessions? And you just start thinking time travel accounts for this, right? Because otherwise it's like parallel realities, but I landed pretty solidly in time travel on this. It takes the movie then far too long to get to the one thing I did find sort of interesting. Now, we the audience already know that Dylan O'Brien has just started suffering from like tremors during dry seasons on Caddo Lake. It's a genetic affliction passed down to him by his mom. One such tremor actually causing her to lose control of the car and crash into the lake, killing her at the beginning of the movie. We then see that who we presume to be his daughter also suffers from tremors now during the same dry season. So that's another thing that ties these two together. Shows they share the same genetics that allow for time travel in this one spot on Caddo Lake during the dry seasons. You know, you get it. When Ellie's foster sister Anna goes missing, it causes everyone in town to start like scouring Caddo Lake to find her. This leads Ellie to discover she can time travel. You know, while she's kind of figuring out she can time travel, her father figures out he can time travel, and he ends up going way back in time to before Caddo Lake was even dammed up. He finds a wounded little girl and hands her off to some passing farmers before time traveling again. As time travel storytelling would have it, the girl he rescued is Anna, the foster sibling. But more importantly, she remains stuck back in time where she grows up to become Dylan O'Brien's mother, the same woman who unfortunately dies at the beginning of the movie. So her foster sister / granddaughter, in this case Ellie, discovers this when using an internet cafe in 2005. It was a pretty cool use of time travel. It should be noted, Dylan O'Brien disappears and he ends up trapped in like the modern day, which is why his body was never recovered. Again, pretty cool use of time travel. I mean, I guess what I really get down to is like the biggest gripe I have of this movie. It's just about the importance of time and just how much of mine it wasted. 1 hour and 40 minutes would be a great runtime if it weren't so obvious that the two stories were connected and that eventually we would end up with time travel. You know, it's a good plot for a short story, and maybe if they had tightened it up for like an episode of an anthology show, I'd be a little more forgiving of it. But, you know, you're throwing M. Night Shyamalan's name on screen. We're already looking for and expecting a twist, so an hour and 40 minutes is a lot of time to waste. Getting to what ultimately was a pretty decent time travel story. Not my favorite, not the worst either, just too drawn out for me. Well, did any of you see Caddo Lake? What did you think? Let me know. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.